Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the NoDQ.com live recap of the post Summerslam 2021 edition of Monday Night Raw from San Diego, California. My friend Good Mike Work was there. Shout out to him. Matt Helms sent in a $20 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Matt. I really do appreciate it. He says, hello, no DQ. Let's go ahead and get started with this recap. We kicked off Raw with a recap of SummerSlam, showing all the highlights. The WWE Champion Bobby Lashley made his way to the ring with MVP by his side. And then we had another recap with the focus being on Lashley versus Goldberg. MVP did admit that Goldberg was a worthy challenger. He gave Goldberg credit. However, Goldberg only made the Almighty angry. Then MVP said that only one man has stopped Goldberg, and that is Lashley. MVP said that Goldberg quit, and that makes him a coward. MVP said they didn't know Goldberg's son Gage was going to be there. Goldberg's son attacked Lashley from behind like a coward. Lashley then said that everybody in San Diego, they're a bunch of cowards. Actually, I think MVP said that. Lashley's one line was that if anybody thinks he should apologize, they can go to hell. We then had Damian Priest interrupt, and he basically challenged Lashley to a match and said that Lashley is a coward if he doesn't accept the match. Lashley then attacked Priest. Priest fought back, and MVP accepted the match on behalf of Bobby Lashley. So after the commercial break, we had Bobby Lashley, the WWE Champion, versus Damian Priest, the new United States Champion. Lashley controlled, and then Priest made a comeback. Then all of a sudden, Sheamus jumped in the ring and attacked Priest, causing a disqualification. And this was a very short match, maybe 2 minutes. And you know what that means. You know when they do a match and it ends very quickly with a DQ, you can predict what's going to happen next. Drew McIntyre ran down to make the save, went after Lashley, suplexed him on the table, and then there was a commercial break. You guys know what happens here. Holla, holla, holla. Tag team match during the commercial break. It gets set up by Adam Pearce or whoever is running the show. You guys know my thoughts on this. Whenever WWE does a singles match that quickly ends and then people run down and then there's a tag team match after the break, you know what it means. If you've been following my channel for a while, it means letter grade down. Automatic. Now, let's get to this match because, well, we have to. So we had the tag team match, which was pretty standard. Lashley was beating up Priest just like he did with Goldberg, threw Priest into the ring post. And eventually, Sheamus worked over Priest, and then Priest was able to get the hot tag to Drew McIntyre. Sheamus was tagged in. He had a super white noise, but Drew kicked out of it. And then Priest tagged in. Lashley at this point just decided he was done. He walked out on the match, and then Drew McIntyre pinned Sheamus with the Claymore. Now people are thinking we are going to see another match between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, even though the stipulation is that Drew cannot challenge Lashley as long as Lashley is the champion. And as Michael Wayne pointed out in the chat room, this was the first 40-plus minutes of Raw. Over 40 minutes with just Lashley and Damian Priest, and then you added Drew McIntyre to the mix, along with Sheamus. Hamp Kano with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. I appreciate it. Says, well, Aaron, I'm done. I will no longer watch that chicken SH censored show until there are major changes. What is it going to take? I've never been so bored. Clearly, there's nothing that's going to make things change. We do have a draft coming up which will change things for, about 2 weeks, and then things will be back to normal, which is basically the same thing every single week. And Darren, I have no idea what happened to Lashley's arm. I didn't even notice anything. That's how little I was paying attention. We had a backstage segment with Dewdrop talking about Eva Marie. How, yes, she did help Dewdrop get into WWE. Well, not counting NXT UK. But she's not going to be pushed around. She said she's going to Dewdrop Eva Marie, and that's when Eva showed up, attacked Dewdrop, left her laying, and it was announced later on that they will be competing on next week's Monday Night Raw. For any of you that bought a ticket to next week's Raw, well, I kind of feel bad for you. You get to see Dewdrop versus Eva Marie. Next up, we had Karrion Cross, who has a brand new mask. He looks like he came out of Retribution circa 2020. Maybe a mix of Retribution and Demolition. He had this red mask and it looked really tacky. And on top of that, he had these red suspenders that he was wearing. He just looked ridiculous. Michael Wayne says Cross is the son of Axe and the uncle of Smash. He very well might be at this point. I mean, that could be his new gimmick. So anyways, we had Cross beat Ricochet in a glorified squash match. I mean, it was pretty much a squash match. And yeah, I guess they're going full gladiator with Karrion Cross. Still no Scarlet. And man, do I not care about Karrion Cross at this point. Like, they have just watered him down so badly. Oofman Entertainment sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Oofman. I appreciate it. It says, after seeing Cross's new attire, how far away should Adam Cole run from the main roster? He probably should go to AEW. Unless WWE offers him some ridiculous amount of money. But hey, he might end up getting released anyways. He should just go to AEW. I think that's the best option for him, quite frankly. We had Sheamus backstage confronting Lashley. And he was upset that Lashley walked out on him. Lashley said he doesn't need any help. And they did announce that next week it will be Sheamus versus Lashley one-on-one. I thought they wrestled a bunch of times earlier this year. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I really don't care about this match either. Dr. NXT Scorpio with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, I did not watch Raw tonight, thank God. I hate myself checking Twitter and seeing what they did to Cross, LOL. Man, when Adam Cole told him he's nothing but a special entrance, it's becoming more true. Yeah, that Adam Cole promo is aging well with every passing week. I hate to say it. We had Moist TV with special guest Logan Paul. Lots of boos for Logan Paul. He got the most heat of anybody on this show, so I guess more power to him. And Morrison was asking him about the Paul brothers, what's next for them. Miz appeared and Paul started plugging his brother's fight. Miz wanted to know what round Paul's brother would be knocked out in. And Logan threatened to kick Miz's ass. Morrison made a joke about Logan kicking Miz's ass. Miz got pissed off about this. Miz and Morrison started arguing. Logan Paul just took his leave, and then Xavier Woods showed up for a match with The Miz. And before we get to that, Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, do you think Karrion Cross was overrated in NXT? I think Karrion Cross was good at being a monster and having that look and feel of somebody special. He was protected, no doubt, but they were making him out to be like a major superstar, and now he just doesn't feel special anymore. Hamp Connell with a $2 super chat says, how long before Dewdrop is enhancement talent? Hopefully it doesn't happen for a while, because I think she has a lot of potential. If anything, they should probably just cut Eva Marie loose and push Dewdrop, but they got to get rid of that name. Just let her be Piper Niven, or at least not call her Dewdrop. We had Xavier Woods versus Miz. Xavier had this New Day Rocks in the style of the NWO on his tights, and his tights were red and black like the Wolf Pack, and he had some razors to pay tribute to Razor Ramon. I really liked his gear. I like Xavier Woods' NWO-inspired gear. Miz was selling his leg, and that got him the upper hand for a while. And then Morrison ended up screwing over the Miz by accident. What happened was Morrison got on the apron with the drip stick, and the referee was focused on Morrison. Miz rolled up Xavier, but the referee was busy with Morrison. And then Xavier rolled up Miz right when the referee turned around, and Xavier Woods picked up the victory. Walter Cruz says, what's up with Kofi? Kofi is reportedly not cleared, and we can all speculate about what that means. But yeah, apparently he's not cleared to wrestle, and that's all we know at this point. After the match was over, we had some post-match tension between The Miz and John Morrison. Morrison grabbed the drip sticks, and it looked like all was going to be okay with them. But then The Miz turned against his longtime partner, Johnny Drip Drip, beat the crap out of him. And of course, we get the 30 camera cuts every second from Kevin Dunn as The Miz attacked him. And then he hit a skull-crushing finale on Morrison to add that final blow, that final exclamation point. I should have liked this, but the camera cuts turned me off of it. It was okay. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, it was not, but it was okay. And they're going to have a match on next week's Raw. Morrison cut a promo towards the end of the show and challenged Miz to a match, and that will happen next week. Not even good enough to get on pay-per-view, although they might end up doing it on pay-per-view anyways. They could end up having 4 or 5 matches on TV before it's all said and done. Yes, Dr. NXT Scorpio, they did in fact bring back Logan Paul. Basically just to promote his various projects that nobody really cares about other than the YouTube influencers and people that like Logan Paul for whatever reason. We had Nikki Ash backstage with Rhea Ripley talking about teaming up, and Rhea Ripley was cool with it. James says the lack of crowd reactions killed the angle with Miz and Morrison. Yeah, I mean, the crowd was okay, but nothing special. Like, it was a very average crowd. We then had another segment with Reggie outside the building. He was ordering some ice cream. R-Truth and Tozawa were dressed up in their tree and trash can costumes, and Reggie gave them the ice cream, and then he jumped up on the truck and flipped off the truck and ran off with the 24/7 title. Yada, yada, yada. Did not care about this. We then had Riddle backstage hyping up this special celebration, and Randy Orton said, don't do anything stupid. And Riddle was like, why would I do anything stupid, with his goofy grin. We had Jinder Mahal versus Mansoor. Ali was in Mansoor's corner, and before the match backstage, Mansoor said he wanted to win the right way, no shenanigans. And this was a quick match. Jinder Mahal got himself DQ'd when he did not break the 5 count. And then Ali got in the ring and said that they could do things the right way or they could do things his way. So at least they're advancing a storyline with these guys, although it's hard to care about it at this point. We had Damian Priest backstage thanking Drew McIntyre for helping him out. Drew said no problem. He hates both Lashley and Sheamus, and the two of them decided to go out drinking and enjoying some pints in San Diego. And they should have shown some footage of them drinking at a bar. I think that would have at least been entertaining and something different. But no, they didn't do it. Would have taken a little bit of effort, but, can't have too much effort on this show. We had Charlotte come to the ring for her celebratory promo. She gloated about being the 12-time champion. Nobody will ever come close to her legacy. And then we had some pyro go off, and I was like, okay, not a bad Charlotte promo. But then the music stopped, the pyro stopped, and she kept talking. She just kept going on, said it's time for a real woman to hold the title, starting a new revolution, blah, blah, blah. Alexa Bliss interrupted with Lily and basically just said they wanted to say hi. And that was that. So I guess Alexa is going to feud with Charlotte. All right. Marquand 1976 with the $2 super chat says, Dunn's camera cuts may cause epileptic fits. Well, hopefully people with those kind of issues or prone to those issues don't watch Monday Night Raw. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, what young stars are being elevated on Raw? Well, you got Karrion Cross, I suppose, mask and all. You got Mansoor, who at least has a storyline. I suppose you can say a few people are young and they're being elevated. We had another Elias video, and this time he said that the old Elias is dead. Long live the new Elias. And apparently the new Elias is the WWE superstar, and he wears a hat. Look out, WWE Universe. Elias has a hat now. He means business. We had Shayna Baszler giving a pep talk with Nia Jax, and then they were in a tag team match against Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. Anthony pointed out that Cross is 36 years old. All right, well, compared to a lot of the other guys they're pushing right now, like Lashley, Goldberg, Edge, he's probably the younger half as far as the talent roster goes. So yeah, we had this tag team match with the ladies, and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler were having more miscommunications. Nikki got beat up for a long time. Nia gave her the stink face. Nikki eventually got the hot tag to Rhea Ripley, and Nia Jax accidentally splashed Shayna Baszler. That led to Nikki Cross coming off the top to the outside on Nia, and Rhea Ripley hit the riptide to Shayna and scored the 1-2-3 victory. So, once again, Shayna Baszler eats a pin on Monday Night Raw. As Michael Wayne pointed out, she is the new Bray Wyatt as far as eating the pins. Hamp Connell with the $2 super chat, thank you for that, Hamp, says, are we going to see Elias videos for 6 months? Might as well. It would probably be better than what they actually do with him. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you guys for the super chats. Psycho Jet Black says, I felt embarrassed for Ricochet wrestling Cross. Yeah, poor Ricochet, back to being a jabroni. Like, I still don't understand why they don't hire local indie guys to be on the show. Maybe because those local indie guys will eventually go to AEW and actually become stars. And WWE doesn't want these guys getting that notoriety. I don't know. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Walter. Says, there is no saving Raw, and with football coming up, you would think that they would try to keep our attention. Monday night filler. Yeah, as long as they're making money and USA Network is relatively happy, I don't really think things are going to change. And the upcoming draft will be a short-term fix, but yeah, there's not a whole lot to look forward to on Raw. It just is the weakest television show on television. Weakest television show on television. I am such a wordsmith. Darren says they'll break up Nia Jax and Shayna for draft time. Yeah, another tag team breaking up, and they really don't have that many tag teams to begin with. Yet they're going to keep breaking up teams. We had a John Morrison promo backstage, and like I said earlier, he's going to end things next week with The Miz. No more dripstick. Well, we might still see the dripstick, but no more Miz TV, or I'm not sure what we're going to see or what we're not going to see, but we will have a match between them on next week's show. Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat says, but what will it take for USA to have enough? Good question. If the numbers get very low, maybe at some point when the renewal time is coming, USA Network might not offer as much money, but they still might. It's really hard to say, but I think any show that did low enough numbers would be in jeopardy of being canceled. So as long as they do decent numbers, USA Network might be happy enough with that. I mean, USA Network, Virtue makes a good point here. NBC Universal, Peacock, WWE, like NBC Universal is very much invested in WWE right now. So I don't think there's going to be a point where USA breaks away from WWE anytime in the near future, even if the numbers keep declining. And really, I think WWE has bottomed out. They got their core audience. I think Raw, even through football, will have 1.6, 1.7 million people. And, you know, maybe somebody catches fire. Maybe they do the draft and maybe they get those numbers up a little bit. Who knows? But they've probably gotten as low or as close to low as they're going to get. I just can't imagine them getting below like 1.5 million. I think they do have a core audience that will pretty much watch no matter what. Matt Helms with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Matt. Says, where are Natalya and Tamina? Well, Natalia's back. She came back this weekend. They're the tag team champions still. They keep losing matches, but they're the tag team champions, and I believe they'll be facing Tegan Nox and Shotzi at some point for the titles. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, save for the end the Nick Khan interview thoughts. All right, will do. Hopefully I remember. We had RK Bro with their big celebration as the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Riddle recapped their history, and then it said it was time to have the dopest celebration ever. There were balloons. The ring announcer did a special introduction for them. Pyro went off. Riddle was very excited. Randy was not quite as enthusiastic. And Riddle had a present for Randy, a scooter just for Randy. It had tassels. It had Randy written on it with hearts. Then we had AJ Styles and Omos crashing the party. And AJ talked about how Randy did not get Riddle a gift, not even a plant, which is something that's an obvious gift for Riddle. Little reference there to a recreational activity that I'm sure Riddle partakes in on a normal basis. Styles then challenged Riddle to a match, and that was our main event. Riddle versus AJ Styles. Styles went after Riddle's hamstring, put on the calf crusher. Riddle got out of that. Riddle made a comeback and went to the top, but Omos stood there on the outside, very intimidating like. Riddle got distracted. Styles took advantage, and then Orton went after Omos and then grabbed the scooter and started hitting Omos repeatedly with the scooter. Styles got distracted, and then Riddle picked up the win with the bro Derek. And then after the match, Styles got hit with an RKO for good measure. RKO celebrated on top as Raw went off the air. And it was a pretty good match. Fine way to end the show. Hamp Kana with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. Says, I know how to save Raw. Wait for it. Guest hosts. I don't even find that funny, Hamp. I know you're joking, but we don't joke about that here. Because you know what that means. That means Logan Paul probably gets another appearance on Raw. They'll try to get Cardi B at some point. They'll have that DJ that was at Summerslam before the show. And a bunch of other celebrities or so-called celebrities. No, please no. I mean, there's not a lot of ways that Raw can be worse, but bringing back guest hosts would be at the top of the list. All right, so letter grade for Raw. And I did do a poll again like I did the other night. I'm going to be doing that from now on, doing the poll. You guys can vote in the chat room. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm giving the show a C-. It was a pretty lackluster, boring show in my opinion. Had a few entertaining moments here and there, but for the post SummerSlam edition of Raw, I thought it was very uneventful. Walter Cruz with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Walter. Says, it's embarrassing to say I'm a wrestling fan now. I'm only 38, but back when we were coming up, Aaron, Raw was can't miss, and we talked about it at school. Well, maybe kids do talk about it at school. Not sure. Is there anybody out there under 18 and you go to school and people talk about Raw? I'm curious to know. Now, let me see what you guys voted for Raw. Oh, wow. So, A, 18%, B, 10%, C, 25%, and a D, I can only do 4 options, a D with a 46% portion of the vote. Now, if D is the overwhelming favorite, should I say that's an F? Yeah, it seems like you guys did not care for this show. I really didn't either. I gave it a C-. I've seen worse Raws, but it definitely was not anything to write home about. Hamp gave it an F-. Michael Wayne C-, Darren C-, Biblical Adrian with a D, MVP Kev with a D+, Life of Beto said F for Logan Paul, Leatherface with a C, expected more after SummerSlam. I would agree with that. And Wally Boyd gave it a C- just because. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, who's more over, Chris Cross or Karrion Cross? Pre-main roster Karrion Cross, I would say, was more over, but main roster Karrion Cross, not as over as Chris Cross. There's your answer. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate your viewership and support. Check out the latest news over at NoDQ.com. Tune in for the No DQ review. This Thursday, we got a lot of big topics to cover. Brock Lesnar's return, Becky Lynch's return, what's going on with Sasha Banks, all that and more this Thursday. And of course, Wednesday night, I'll be back. And by the way, Psycho Jet Black reminded me of Nick Khan and his interview. I think Nick Khan is a great businessman. I think that WWE made a good decision to hire him. I think he knows his stuff. And I really don't think that he doesn't deserve to be there. I don't have an issue with him being there. As far as the interview goes, like, I think he handled himself fine, and it is what it is. You know, he's running a business. He's a big part of it, and WWE's a profitable company. So the guy's doing his job. I don't think he should be blamed for the creative issues with WWE. If you're mad about the content of the show, I think you gotta take it up with the people that are in charge, i.e. Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, and so on. Matt Helms with a $5 super chat says, I miss the old Nikki Cross. I do too, and I would love to see her go back to her old character or be like a dark version of the superhero character, like turn her into the Joker. Instead of being Superwoman, she should be the female Joker or something like that. Turn her heel and make her this demented superhero gone bad, and then maybe I would be interested in her character. Maybe something of a mix between the Sanity character and what she's doing now, and blend them together and just create this really insane character. Hamp Connor with the $2 super chat says, thoughts on WWE and 2K? I don't really care about what they're doing. I just want to see a good WWE game on a Nintendo console, whether it's Switch or whatever is in the future. If they put out games on the PlayStation and Xbox, I don't have either of those systems, so I really don't care. I'm not going to be playing the game one way or another unless it's on a Nintendo console. I hope the AEW game is good. I'm more excited for that, quite frankly, and I'm hoping that'll be out on the Switch. And, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to at this point. I really have no interest in the 2K stuff, and I think WWE should probably go with somebody else to make their games. Don't know if they will or not, but we'll see what happens. It's not a good sign that it's getting delayed, but of course WWE released a bunch of people and they had to make some changes with that. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm out. Take care. Enjoy your week, and I will see you all next time.